A troubling record, global coal use soars in 2024. Despite our best efforts to embrace clean energy, the world witnessed a shocking surge in coal consumption last year. This alarming trend jeopardizes our planet's fight against global heating and raises serious concerns about our future. While renewable energy sources made significant strides, the overall demand for electricity led to an unprecedented increase in coal usage. The annual State of Climate Action Report paints a dire picture, highlighting how countries are falling short of their emission reduction targets. Clea Schumer, a researcher at the World Resources Institute, emphasizes the urgency of the situation. We're on the right track, but we're moving too slowly. Our assessment reveals a worrying trend. Coal phase-out efforts are severely lagging for the fifth consecutive year. To achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050 and limit global heating to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, as outlined in the Paris Climate Agreement, we must accelerate the transition to electricity in various sectors. However, this transition is only effective if the global electricity supply becomes low carbon. The challenge lies in the ripple effects of a fossil fuel-reliant power system. Schumer explains. The message is clear. If coal use continues to break records, we won't be able to keep global warming under control. And here's where it gets controversial. Some governments, like India and the US, are actively promoting coal and fossil fuels. Despite commitments to phase down coal use, leaders like Narendra Modi in India and Donald Trump in the US are celebrating increased coal production and supporting fossil fuels. But this isn't a one-sided story. Trump's efforts to hinder renewable energy projects and remove funding for low-carbon power sources haven't yet resulted in higher emissions. However, the report suggests these actions will have an impact in the future, although countries like China and the EU could mitigate this by continuing their support for renewables. The good news is that renewable energy generation is growing exponentially. Solar power, in particular, is the fastest-growing power source in history. However, the annual growth rates of solar and wind power need to double to achieve the necessary emissions cuts by the end of this decade. And this is the part most people miss. While road transport electrification is gaining momentum, with over 1 in 5 new vehicles sold last year being electric, the world is lagging in improving energy efficiency, especially in building heating. Industrial emissions, especially from the steel sector, are also a concern, as carbon intensity increases despite efforts to adopt low-carbon methods. Our planet's natural carbon sinks, such as forests, peatlands, and oceans, are also under threat. Despite pledges to protect forests, deforestation continues at an alarming rate, with over 8 million hectares of forest lost permanently in 2024. This is lower than the peak in 2017 but still higher than the loss in 2021. World leaders will gather in Brazil next month for the COP30 UN Climate Summit to discuss strategies to keep global heating within 1.5 degrees Celsius. Each government is expected to submit detailed plans for emissions cuts, but it's already evident that these plans will fall short. The crucial question is how countries will respond to this challenge. So, what do you think? Is there hope for a sustainable future, or are we heading towards an irreversible climate catastrophe? Share your thoughts in the comments below.